possible for a person to create a one-person billion-dollar startup, it also means it's way easier for people to just create startups in general. Like, I actually think this will, like, one second order effect of this is I think there's just going to be a huge like startup boom and like small like SMB style boom, where anyone can build software for anything, right? Like, you're kind of starting to see this play out in the AI startup scene, where software's become a lot more vertical oriented, where like these verticals, like creating some AI tool for some vertical tends to work quite well because, you know, you really lean into that particular domain, you like really understand the use case for it. And so if you play out AI, there's no reason why you can't have like 100x more of these startups. And so I think one world that we might end up seeing happen is, in order to enable a one-person billion-dollar startup, there might be like 100 other small startups building bespoke software that works extremely well to support other types of, you know, small one-person, you know, billion-dollar startups. And so I think we might actually enter into a golden age of like B2B SaaS and just like software and startups in general. And so I think that's a really interesting trend to kind of see, because as it gets easier and easier to build software, as it's easier and easier to run a company, you might actually just end up seeing way more of these startups. And so the way I've been thinking about it is like, yeah, there might be one person billion-dollar startup, but there might be like 100, $100 million startups. There might be tens of thousands of $10 million startups. And as an individual, it's actually pretty great to have a $10 million business. Like, that's like enough for, you're set for life at that point. And so, you know, we might really see an explosion in that way. And I feel like people aren't really, you know, pressing that in. There's another kind of like third order effect to this, you know, and again, all of these, like, as you get to the further and further out predictions, I think there's a lot of uncertainty. I think if we end up moving to this world where you end up with these like kind of micro companies building software that works for one or two people who own the company and are working there, I think the startup ecosystem will change. I think the VC ecosystem will change. You know, we might end up in a world where there's just like a handful of big players that are offering platforms and supporting all of these startups. But, you know, the types of venture scale return startups that can really 100 or 1,000x your investment might actually end up shrinking if you end up having a bunch of these, you know, smaller $10 to $50 million companies, which are not great for venture style returns, but are great for the individuals, the high agency individuals who are now, you know, really leaning into AI to build these businesses for themselves.